grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So let me just pray. Father, I just pray this morning that you would just give us the strength, give us the wisdom to make good decisions. Help us through this day. I pray, God, for your peace. Help us have patience with our families, our kids, our wives, our husbands. Help us have patience in this business. And we just thank you, Lord. And we thank you for this platform. Amen. The word comes from, all right, it says, meet me early in the morning splendor. I eagerly await you. In the stillness of this holy time with me, I renew your strength and saturate you with peace. While others turn over for extra sleep and anxiously turning to the latest news, you commune with me, your creator of the universe. I have awakened your heart, strong desire to know me. This longing originated in me, though it now burns brightly in you. When you seek my face in response to my loving call, both of us are blessed. This is a deep mystery designed more for your enjoyment than your understanding. I am not a doer God who discourages pleasure. I delight in your enjoyment of everything that is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. Think of these things, and my light in you will shine brighter day by day. Amen. Brother Luis.
Amen, amen. Good morning, brother. Good morning, everybody. Today we're reading from Galatians 5:16, and the title of the message is Live by the Spirit. If you live by the Spirit, you'll not fulfill the lust of the flesh. That's Galatians 5:16. Did you know that you make over 2,500 choices every day? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your decisions. Because of that, choosing to live according to the Spirit is the most important decision you can make. One way God speaks to you is through your spirit, that small voice inside that prompts you when you should or shouldn't do something. When you choose to obey God's leading, that inner prompting, you will always make the right choice. 1 John 3:21 says that a guilty conscience hinders communication with our Heavenly Father. That's why it is so important to stay true to your conscience and quickly repent if you made a mistake. Remember, Jeremiah 29:11 promises that God has great plans in store for you. And when you choose to follow his leading, he will guide you on a path of victory in every area of your life. You are born to win. Prayer for today reads, Precious Heavenly Father, thank you for your promise to lead and guide me by your Spirit. I ask you to teach me to clearly know your promptings in my heart so that I can follow your leading. Thank you for setting me free to walk in victory today. Amen and amen.
Amen and amen. All right. Today we're going to talk about today's building your business. So I'm going to go over a couple of things with helping and serving families, right? So we're going to talk about serving the families with products and services, and then we're going to talk about like adding business partners to your team, like some ideas and ways to kind of maybe help with that. So I would get a pen and paper out. We're going to break down just a couple different ideas on how to do that to help you guys as we're kind of rocking and rolling here. So let me share my screen. We're going to get right into it. So I don't talk for 45 minutes and we get nothing done. That happens quite a bit. Let's just jump in today. All right. Don't laugh, Jacob. All right. So helping families, right? So one thing that, you know, a lot of our business is how you're thinking before you go into an appointment or before you do this career, right? So, you know, you could, if you're thinking about like, I'm going to close this family, I'm going to make money, I'm going to have, you know, you're looking at maybe the numbers all the time, like that kind of stuff, which is not a bad thing. You're running a business. You want to look at your production for the week. You want to look at all that stuff. But how you go in is how you're going to be received. So I think this is very, very important. How you go into the appointment is how you're going to be received. The way you're received is going to determine if they're going to do business with you or not. So if you're going in, the reason I said helping families instead of like closing to start, if you go in with the intention that you're going to have a clear mind and you're going to help these families, then you are going to have a different type of conversation when you're communicating with them. If you're going in to try to close them or try to roll something over, right, when you have no idea what the heck's going on with their family, it's going to be very hard to help these families consistently. I'm not saying that if you're a hard closer, like you're not going to close every once in a while, that's awesome. But how many families are we missing by not truly having their best interest in mind or the way that we go in. So if I go in, and I'll cover some of this, but the fact I'm going to help this family, I have no preconceived notions of what I'm going to do yet because I don't know what's going on. So if I keep my mind clear, I'm not trying to jam them into one thing. Now, yes, are some of our products like universal to every household? Absolutely, they're universal to every household. I mean, universal life. No, I'm just kidding. That was just totally made up in my brain. That just happened in the moment. That's not even something I thought about before I got here, right? But it is universal, but we don't know until we're there. So facts tell, stories sell. So what I mean by that is you need to have your data, but you sharing experiences. I like this kind of maybe better. You sharing what you've heard from other people, right? Sharing what you've experienced in your own career so far, what you've heard on these meetings is going to help somebody move, because when you tell someone a story, they can like relate themselves into it. Like, oh yeah, I've been through times of this. Like if you're talking and you've heard on here where people talk about, man, I went out there and I was on an appointment and they were down to their last dollar, right? And you're like, man, like, and you say that story because you're looking at someone's situation and maybe they're down to their last dollar. Hey, we've seen people in that situation, but guess where they are now, right? Or, hey, man, we know we've dealt with someone that just lost someone in the last 30 days, right, man? I've heard someone on one of the meetings talking about how, man, what they went through, and I can feel where you're coming from. Or maybe you've experienced that loss before, or maybe you've experienced being financially not in a good place, or maybe you experienced making bad financial decisions, or maybe you experienced the fact that someone close to you got sick, or there's a million things, right? So your stories make them connect to you because it's more of a relational thing. Facts are awesome. Like, hey, at the end of the day, you're like, hey, all this is here. Let me just show you the data that the banks are putting $12 billion in this thing. Like, here's the reality to back up what I said. But you should first get them to engage in a story and something that you're using, a relationship, and then back up with facts, because it all got to make sense. And then you got to understand here, when you close or you when you close someone here, like that means they move forward with the product or they become a business partner, you are helping. So here, whenever you see the word closing, I want you to think closing is helping. Because if you go to a house and you do not relate and you do not have them build wealth for themselves, whether it's setting up life insurance, whether it's setting up their kids, whether it's getting out of debt, whether it's building their emergency funds, if you leave and nothing happens, that family did not get helped. They might have got educated, but they didn't get helped, right? Education with products and services equal helping the family. So just remember that when you hear closing, it's like helping. So if I leave and I'm like, man, I closed that. Okay, well then they means they got something. And when we close, they're better financially. Nick, I don't know what you've been doing this 5 years, going on 6 years. I don't know if there's been a time in 6 years where when we left, they weren't better. Like, oh, you just increased your net worth by $400,000. Oh, that's terrible, right? I just placed your family protect. So there's never been a time, and all the time we've done this, when we leave, they're not better. We don't work in one of those. That's not what we do for a living. Every single thing you do with your life and health license protects life, health, and income. So when you're done, if business has been transacted, their life, their health, or their income, or all three have now been placed because of you. But is that what you're thinking when you're done? Like, man, do you sit back for a second and be like, dude, I just helped Brent, whose dad just passed away, and his business is now him and his sisters, and he thinks outside the box and understands insurance is a good thing. She's kind of staying where she's at, but Brent went forward and did this for him and his kids. I'm like, man, like it's a first small step of something that could turn into a lifelong relationship of helping him. But man, he put himself in a better situation. And I said, man, you could sell this company tomorrow and make 11 million bucks. Like it's worth 11 million. He said, Dad wouldn't want that. Dad wouldn't want that. So I said, now how do we leverage what he does have to get him in the best situation? Because after all that, no life insurance, nothing set up for his kids. He has a business worth 11 million bucks and he ain't got nothing protected. There's no trust. There's nothing. That blows my mind. But the reality is, like, when I got done, I'm like, man, mission accomplished. Checking the old box. I didn't say, what's my commission? How much am I going to make? Haven't even added it up yet. And I'm on to the next one. And then it's awesome because every time the Zoom comes on, you should like clear your brain out and then be in the moment. Clear your brain out, be in the moment, because every person's different and unique. All right. So how do you do this, right? This, in my opinion, and this is all my opinion here, by the way. Okay. This is not a WFG opinion. This is my opinion. I believe this is the most important part of your job in terms of how you're going to move forward with the conversation, being able to form somebody and really find out about them is what's going to help you serve that family. And I'm going to say this real quick. Be interested, not interesting. It's okay to relate some of your stuff to people, but honestly, they really don't care. Don't take this the wrong way. Like, they don't care. Like, if I sat there and told you, hey guys, this is all we talked about, by the way. Not that we went back and forth. If me and Luis are having a conversation and he says, man, I love my kids. I'm like, I love my kids too. That's normal. But if we're having a conversation and I'm like, bro, I've been in this business. I started in my house and now, I worked hard. I did very good. Some people quit. I kept going. And then I started recruiting and I got promoted to MD. Then I made SMD and then I started making more money. And I went from no money to 150,000 to 500,000. Now I'm making $40,000 a month. I drive $100,000 vehicles. I have no debt. Everything's paid off. And you're like, okay, cool, dude. What are you going to do for me? Like, what? That's awesome. That's cool. And it's not bad to talk about that. There's a time and a place for all that. But if it's look at me, they're like, what about me, dude? All everyone's thinking when you're talking to them is what's in it for me? What is in it for me? What happens when I do this? What happens when I purchase the product? What happens for my family if something happens, right? It's okay to relate, but I've been on appointments where literally I've watched someone tell how awesome they are. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, like, are you going to ask them why they're awesome? Because at the last time I checked, you're not the one trying to buy stuff. You already got it. It's all about what's important to them. So relatability is important, but be careful not to get off on some tangent about stuff that's not related to anything. Some areas that are kind of cool to get off on a tangent with is someone's family. That's okay sometimes. When you're talking about people's kids and themselves and your kid and some things you can relate about or hobbies, that's cool. All your accomplishments, don't take, Nick, be honest with me. I know it's cool. I know it's awesome. But do you care that I have a whole closet and half of my garage full of awards? I mean, honestly, are we going to take them over to your house and I'm going to give them all? I know what you're like, all seriousness. Like at the end of the day, it's okay, great. But like, if I went and pulled out every trophy I've gotten since I started WFG and I was showing them all to you, you'd be like, okay, it's cute, dude. Like, where's the one with my name on it? At the end of the day, that's all they're saying at the end. Where is the one with my name on it? Where is the one where my daughter sees me walk across the stage? So I'm just giving you guys a couple ideas before I get into this, because this is very, very important about our career. Okay. So families, right? This is things you need to find out. I'm going to hopefully, Nick, don't make me look bad here, because I know you heard me do this a million times. I'm just kidding real quick. What is the first thing I ask everyone all the time? When I'm doing a conversation, what's the very first thing I say?
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
This is the easiest icebreaker ever. Stop trying to come up with some random, what's the one-liner you use? I literally ask them, I'd say, hey, Kristen, what's up? Hey, I see you're in Texas. Oh, great.
Where are you from originally?
Who just said that? Who just did that?
Me. That's what you always say. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, I do. I'm like, okay, you're in where are you from originally? What do you think's going to happen organically? Oh, I'm born and raised in Texas. Born and raised? Where at? Oh, over here. The whole time you've never been anywhere. Oh, blue. Then she starts. It's the easiest way to start a conversation. Even if I'm standing next to you in Arizona. Hey, are you from here? Like the guy yesterday, I was in Andres. Hey, are you from here? Oh yeah. I grew up on 83rd in Bell. I was like, dude, I grew up on 81st in Thunderbird. I was like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 42. I was like, I'm 41. I was like, oh my God, are we like best friends? Just like what I said to this guy, are we best friends right now? What school did you go to? He said Cactus. I went to Centennial. We're like right down the street. I was like, we can't be friends. I will not help you financially because you're the Cobras. I'm a Coyote. And then boom, then I found I had a 13-year-old. And then from there, I was like, hey bro, so are you married? Do you have any kids? Like, what's going on? Just be normal. Like, and then he said, yes, I'm not married, but I have a 13-year-old. Oh, you have a 13-year-old? Oh, dude, I got a 14-year-old. That's crazy. You have kids the same age. Across the kids are crazy. Oh my God. Right. Boom. Hey, and then you can find out about their parents. Hey, are you originally from here? Yes, I am. Hey, are your parents from here? Oh no, they're from New York. People think I'm like our origins are from Arizona because I was born and raised here. It's not true. Our whole family's from New York. That's why I'm nuts. To figure this out. And I got East Coast blood flowing through me. Something's wrong with me, right? My whole family is, my mom's from Buffalo. My dad's from Long Island. That's where they all are from. And then they moved to Arizona. But if you would just ask me the question, you think I'm from Arizona. You wouldn't know I got all these back east roots because you're not asking the right questions. We're not going deep enough. This bottom one is so important. Stop being so surface. Dig. The reason you want to dig is the more commonality you can find, the better, because now you have things in common. People with things in common like to be around each other. People with things in common actually do things. It's very simple. And then family members, find out stuff about them. Hey, you have brothers and sisters. Like, hey, what do they do? Where are they at? Right? Start just finding out anything that you need to know that'll help you. Why is it important to find out where they're from? Because typically where people are raised, people think a little differently on things, right? Like, not that it's all the same, you don't stereotype the thing, but like, you know that like if you're in California, there's traffic like up the wazoo and it's fast paced, it's moving, it's this. If you talk to someone in the South, it's a little bit more slower, low key. It's just different. Just get on a Zoom with them and have a conversation. One's bouncing all over the place, the other one's like kicking back, having some coffee and chilling, right? You get up into Montana, there's different thought process. Some people like to be more outdoorsy in certain areas. Some people don't. You got to find all this stuff out, right? But where they're from will help you determine some of the psychological thinking of what they do, right? It's just things that you start to do. Where you're from, find out about their kids, find out if they're married, find out like how long they've been married, where's your wife from, where's your husband from, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And just ask the questions, right? And I always get asked this, when do I go to the next one? When you feel like you have enough information and you feel like it's good. I would rather you spend more time forming them than to presenting to them. I would rather you spend more time forming them than presenting to someone you have nothing in common with and they don't have any tie to you. They don't even know why they're listening to you because you never built commonality. We're so fast to rush into the presentation. We don't even know, we're not even actually talking to them about their situation because we didn't spend enough time learning about them. So the presentation should be tied to what they're saying. Like when I did Terry's business launch with Jenna and Mark, I was able to tie exact things in from what I knew about her into the presentation, right? The whole entire time, because I know her I'm starting to learn a lot about her so I could tie it in to what's going on, right? As you're doing a one-on-one with somebody, if I'm talking to Heather, I should find out if she's married, if she has kids, what's going on. And then when I'm in the presentation and I'm going over like the Rule of 72 or these different products, and she's like, oh yeah, I can't find out who it is. I can't see it. There it is right there. All right. I got to find out. I can't, there we go. I got to find out if there's kids involved. So then when I'm on there and I see the thing that we're talking about, college plans, you might want to say, hey, I know you got those little ones. I'm pretty sure their future, think about their future is pretty important. Yes, it is. If she doesn't have any kids and I'm like, college plans for 45 minutes, that's weird. Like just talk about random stuff that doesn't matter. People don't want to talk about random stuff. They don't have enough time to talk about a bunch of random stuff. They are busy. They have a short amount of time. They want to talk about stuff that makes sense to them. So the more you know about them, you can do that. What do you do? Right? What have you done? These questions, hey, Terry, what do you do for a living? You don't have to answer this for now, but what do you do for a living? Oh, I've worked in mortgages for a long time. Great. Hey, what did you like most about doing that? Man, I loved helping people. I like kind of tough projects. I like to solve problems, whatever, right? It says all these things, right? Okay, awesome. Hey, what did you not like about it? Oh my gosh, they'll give you a day. It's always funny. The not like is always a laundry list. The like's like very short. No, I'm just kidding, right? But they'll tell you what they like about careers and what they don't like about careers. This is so important for if you're going to offer them the opportunity eventually to find out what things that they like to do that you could say WFG does. And hey, the thing they don't like to do, then you don't have to do that here. Very, very important. Then find out what they like to do, right? And sometimes I get deeper too. I'll be like, hey, what did your parents do? Oh, my dad's an electrician, blah, blah, blah. The other thing you're doing too is eventually if they're going to come into business, you could start to pre-build their market in their brain by knowing what other people do outside of just them. Find out what the spouse does. Very important. Recreation, what hobbies, what interests do you have? Right? What do people like to do? And then please, 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 for the love of the big man upstairs, stop trying to act like you like everything because that's weird. Okay. Like I'm not a car guy. When someone goes off about cars, if you're not a car guy and you try to go off about cars, you sound weird and they already know you're lying and they know right then that you're making stuff up. Like it's weird. Like I like to hike. I like to hike. I like to play football. I like to play football. I like cars. I like cars. You seem like that's really weird. Okay. No one likes everything. So if they like something you don't, that's when relating somebody else in is very important. So whenever someone says cars to me ever, now I have like a list. Alex Lopez. I have Ed. Ed drives cars. I got Shane. I probably put Shane above Ed because Shane talks about cars more. So like I have people in my brain. I know that like that. I know TJ actually re-puts together cars. Like he actually like in the dang car. Like I know all of it. Like, so I'm like, to what? Like you got to know people that you don't know things on. So I don't say, hey, I like that and make stuff up. And then the other thing that's very, very interesting here, and you should do this all the time. If someone's super passionate about something you don't understand, ask them about it. Hey, so what about cars? And they tell me stuff, I don't even know what they're saying. Even to today, I don't even know because I have no interest in it. But they're like talking about pistons and this and that. Oh, the Roto-Rooter. I don't think that's even new. I'm just kidding around. I don't know what they're saying, but they're all passionate. And when someone gets passionate, then you start to find out why they're passionate about certain things. That can drive them also to be successful, whether it's buying products or doing stuff as well. But getting people to find out what they're passionate about, because here's what I have figured out. most people that are passionate about something are not doing what they're passionate about. Man, I love helping people. You're sitting in a cube, like not doing anything. I like to serve. I want to travel around and make a difference. Well, when's the last time you did that? I haven't done that ever. I just know I really like it. What if we could find you a way to be able to free some time up to be able to do that? Man, I'd be so happy. I've experienced more of the things I like to do since doing this than I did thinking about it in a cube for 10 years. I never did any of it. Does that make sense for a minute? Like I experienced more of the things I like to do on a daily basis doing this in WFG than I did ever in a cube for 10 years, dreaming I was going to do it. I didn't do any of it. I dreamt about it forever. Like I'm looking at Terry, like there's talking about, I want to get good at this. I want to be at my job and go visit my grandchild in Georgia. And then there's actually doing this, putting some sweat equity and being there. I promise you this, I'm going to tell you something real quick. It's going to feel a lot better while she's being there doing it than it is thinking about it. And that's what happens. So you got to find what interests them. And then our message directly to what you just heard. This is the most important part. After they tell you all this stuff, when you deliver your message about WFG, it better be spot on to what they just said. Stop giving these weird cookie cutter answers to stuff that they don't care about. Like if they're like, man, I got a family, I got kids, I got this. You know what, man, our company, we literally spend most of our time helping families that have been typically overlooked by the financial services companies for the middle class. We help people like you get their family on track. Heather, I know those kids are important to you. We're going to make sure that you can learn stuff today to help you be able to get that. Hey, Heather, with no kids. Hey, you have kids, but if you didn't, hey, Heather, we're going to make sure your kids are good. And you're like, oh my God, what do you do? Well, here we help with kids. We help people with 401ks. I didn't tell you how to 401k. Why are we talking about 401ks? I don't even have a 401k. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? If you don't know what's going on, you're just talking. Talking equals nothing. Talking about what's important means something. You don't need to spend 45 minutes on a 401k where they don't even have a 401k. They don't even know what you're talking about. Eventually, you can talk to other people about a 401k. But if I'm sitting here, we have a server that we're talking. He's been in the serving industry for 25 years. He's never had a 401k his whole life. How much time did I spend on the presentation about a 401k? Zero. I didn't spend one thing because it doesn't matter to him right now. Now, if he refers me to someone, I will talk about that. We're helping him today. Talked to him yesterday. Helping him today. We talked about what was important to him. Saving money. Getting in a different type of career that doesn't have to be so demanding. Building something for his future. Protecting what he just built. So I talked about an IUL the entire time without saying IUL one time. I talked about all the features of what it can do. And now we're going to talk about that today and get it done. Nothing about anything else. He has no kids. He's not married. So we didn't talk about that. I've been on presentations where we're so robotic. We're just talking about stuff that has no relation to what's even going on. So this is very, very important. I would practice this more. I don't like talking to people. You better find another career because you have to talk to people here, right? I'm just joking about being serious. I don't like hearing that. I don't really like people. What are you talking about? That's like the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I don't like people. That's not the right statement. You may like to be by yourself more. Maybe you like to be by yourself more, but to say you do not like people is not a good thing to be coming out of your mouth. You should really start to think about what comes out. There's a difference between I like to be kind of kick back by myself and be more by myself, then I don't like human beings. Like just think about the different, that's a different way to say it. Hey, you know what? If I had to pick between being around a group of people or just kind of kicking back and being with myself, I like that better. But the fact that I don't like people, that's a very bad thing to be telling yourself because it's not true. Because everyone on here for 237 of you, you're around 237 people. So you must like people because you're listening to them and you're on here. But what you tell yourself will start to convince out, and then you start building up all these roadblocks around it. Okay. I haven't met one person on planet Earth that really does not like people. I've never met a person that literally not around any people ever. That's not true. You might not like certain attributes about things that people do. You may not like being around certain kinds of people or the way they carry themselves, but be careful what you say out of your mouth. Because I hear that sometimes. I'm not going to be good at this because I don't like people. What are you talking about? You've been talking to me for 45 minutes. Dude, what the hell have we been doing? You don't like me? What the hell have we been talking? I mean, we've been talking for 40 minutes. Come on, let's go. Be careful what comes out of your mouth. But this, if you're a broker on here, my suggestion is I would spend a lot more time really honing people's skills on this. And here's the best part. What's the script, Jason? There is no script. This is the script. You're looking at it. This is it. I am not trying to create a bunch of robots. That's not what I'm trying to create here. That's not my job. My job is to get people to be comfortable in their skin because I'm looking at these screens right now. Kristen will do this completely different than Terry. And Terry will do it different than Fred, and Fred's going to do different than Heather, and Heather's going to do different than Pete. Now, the baseline's here. The structure's here. Find out about their family. Find out about occupation. Find out about recreation. Find out about their message. I don't know if Kristen's more comfortable talking about their hobbies first. What do I care? As long as you get all these things done in that situation, I don't care what order it goes. And some of them start different. If you get referred over to me to find out what this opportunity and you're looking for a business opportunity, I'm probably going to start about your job first. Why would I not start there? That seems more normal. Like, hey, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, real quick. So you're looking at this. What do you currently do? I will start with the occupation because you're looking for an occupation. Talk about that. Then I will go, okay, I'm done with occupation. I have 2 more areas I must hit before I get off. Like, that's the robot part you should have. I have 2 more areas I must hit. I must find out about their family and I must find out what they like to do before I get off of this. And then, oh, by the way, if there's enough time, I might do a presentation for you. But instead, we get off of this so fast and we're like, presentation, no one's closing because you haven't connected with anybody. And then you could have somebody who's not very good at all the products and services, right? Or maybe doesn't know everything about them and could close them all. I was joking about with someone earlier. They're like, man, I spent all this time doing that. I was like, bro, I haven't looked at that one time and I've sold 4 of those products in 3 days. I've not looked at one thing. I haven't looked at anything. I just got on and found out what they need and then I gave them the product. Me and Kristen just did one with Sky. I hope she's on here. She is super awesome. This lady is, she's like, hey, ready, buckle up. I'm going to put a fighter jet at you right now, right? And we're talking to her. The whole thing was just talking about what was important to her. That was it. And she's fired up because you know why? It's important to her and she's going to do awesome. We probably could have done all of it without a presentation, to be quite frank with you, right? So serving the family. How do you serve a family, right? These are very, very key, right? Here's some ideas with giving you guys some tactical things that you can do, right? So I just went over this. You got to build rapport. You got to build rapport. Number one thing. Nick's laughing the entire time here because he's like, Jason, you totally stole this from University of Phoenix. Yeah, I did. I literally did. You know why? Because we worked there for I worked there for almost 10 years, Nick, 11 years. They would record us and be like, you're going to lose pay. They would dock our pay if we weren't finding enough motivation. You didn't find their why. I'm like, good gosh, I felt like I went 7,000. I peeled back every layer of the onion. I mean, I freaking found out that where their origins are from. I found out like, you know, where the 6th generation came from. I mean, seriously, they made us dig so bad on this. And I thank them so much because it was the key to our success. Because here's the reality, guys. The number one number in our business is not the first transaction. You're looking at it wrong. What was the number one thing, Nick, that they were honest about? It wasn't about making the recruit. What was it? What was the word?
Referrals.
What was the other R? Come on, what do they have to do? It's not get them into school. It's about what?
Register. Retention. Yep.
Dude, they were so big on referrals and retention. Like retention. I don't care if you get them into school. If they only take 2 classes, they don't have a degree. That's what he said to us all the time. They have to have a degree to win. It doesn't matter how many people you put in. How many people are going to have this in place on the time they need it when they get sick? I mean, sometimes we get caught up on the wrong numbers here. Your persistency in business. The fact that I'm so happy is that we're over 2-point-something million and we're at high and 91% persistency as a team. That to me is what matters. That means they're going to stay in it. When they need it most, we deliver. So building a relationship is going to allow them to stay with it. Finding out what's important to them is going to keep them in the product, right? So you must find commonality. People won't buy from someone they don't like and trust. This is not made up by me, by the way. Like this is anything we've ever learned in transacting business with a human being. Okay, Luis, you worked in the restaurant industry. Is that not true? Why do they come back to the restaurant? They can eat anywhere. Is it not true that they must like it? They must like you and have a good feeling from you. Why would they go eat from your? Because I have a family restaurant. Okay, a lot of people have family restaurants. They have to feel like they can trust you. They like you. That's why they come back to your place. Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's in the restaurant industry, whether it's here, whether it's your 9 to 5, whether it's a friend you're trying to make. People will not do something with you if they do not like and trust you. That's why I harp on this so much. Like, I want you to just get them to understand that you're here for them. Like, that's the real reason we're here. They might think you're here trying to sell them, but by the time you're done, I want them to have that completely out of their brain. And then you'll do more business. Facts tell, stories sell. So back up with facts, but tell why you're doing what you're doing. It's so important. Like, here's why I'm going to show you that Chase Bank is doing this, because here's the history of what's happened. Oh, let me show you what they're doing. You must have set the stage first and then give factual data to back up so it looks like you're not lying. You know, I read something that says if in one sit down you could show them 3 times that what you're saying is real, you have a 95% chance of helping that family. And anything you're selling, I don't care if you're selling them a vacuum, I don't care if you're selling them a whatever. If you can show them 3 things, at least 3, that you said first, and then you back up with data that's factual and real, you have a 95% chance of helping that family. 95% chance. You know how much data points we actually have to show them that what we're not saying is not incorrect? We have books, we have articles, we have websites, you have the Google. The Google will show you, right? The Google will show you the way. You have all these things to back up what you're saying. But you have to learn and be confident in saying what you're going to say, and then know that you've done the research, you took the time, and then you show them and say, dude, I'm just telling you what's here. You can decide to figure out and believe what you want. I'm just telling you, here's what it is. We have 20-year look backs. We have 30-year look backs of our products. We have 5-year look backs. We have every look back. You can look back to look back to look back to look back. We have look backs. You can get so many look backs, it's crazy. Which one do you want to see? We have everything right there. We don't hold anything back. We don't manipulate. We don't lie. In our industry, I actually like the fact that we have a thing called like suitability and all the stuff we have to go through and regulations and compliance. And I like the fact when I show a nationwide product, even though over the last 30 years, it's done 15.31% in some of these strategies, we can only illustrate 6.81. I like that. Some people are like, oh, they're not going to, you're selling it the wrong way. Why are you trying to compare an IUL to an investment product when it's not an investment product? Like IUL, savings account. Figure it out. Only 2 places you ain't going to lose money. You want a CD? IUL. If you're talking the money side, that's what you're comparing to. Because if you're comparing this to the stock market, you are vastly doing this incorrectly. Because last time I checked, I can't lose $1 in my product. I'm not talking about products you can lose money in. It's not the same. It's not an investment. This is not an investment. You can't call it that. It's not an investment. Now you do a variable universal life investment. Index universal life is not an investment product. It's not an investment. You can, yes, you are allowed to gain interest in this account, but since you cannot lose, you're not investing any money here, right? You are repositioning funds into an account, aka like your savings account, that will give you the guarantees of not losing with the upside growth potential of the market. Say something, show something. Say something, show something. You guys should write this down and make it your saying. Say something, show something. I don't know what you're going to show, but show something. Say something and then show that what you're saying is real. Like, boom. It's in this Zoom era is so awesome. Because I used to remember driving to houses, I forget my pamphlet or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even, and I wasn't smart enough to know you could just go to the internet and pull it up, but that's a whole nother story. But like you forget your paperwork. You're like, oh my God, now I got to like try to convince them that I'm not lying to them. Say something, show something. The financial needs analysis, you must do a good job on the first appointment. That's actually where you're actually getting the family helped. Your first appointment is actually the one that you're helping them. The second one, you're just collecting data to get it done. The first appointment, you must link their needs, fears, and wants to what you're talking about conceptually, not product-wise, not product-wise. Tony, you've been doing this with me now since October last year. On the first appointment, how many times do you ever hear me say IUL, fixed index annuity?
Never.
Never. Never. You know why? Because I haven't done a financial needs analysis yet. I don't even know if they can have those things, but I can talk conceptually about protecting your money and indexing. I can talk conceptually about the fact that you should have some tax advantage accounts. I don't know if it's going to be a Roth IRA where you're at. I don't know if it's going to need to be an executive bonus plan. I don't know if it needs to be an IUL. I don't know if it needs to be a whole life policy. I have no idea. I can talk conceptually and I can get into your feelings about why it's important to protect your family, why it's important to have it. I don't know if that's going to be a term policy. I don't know if that's going to be a final expense. I have no dang idea because I have not done a financial needs analysis to know what the heck you actually need. So why would I ever? It's like, I'm going to play Joanna poker. Okay, we're playing poker. And I'm like, hey, by the way, here's all my cards. Here's everything I have. Here, now what can we do? Why would I ever do that? Why would I show my cards first when I don't even know what we're playing with yet? I don't know. Are we playing blackjack? Are we playing Texas Hold'em? I don't even know card games, guys. I'm just making stuff up. Those are only 2 I think I know. Are we playing a speed? Right? I don't know what we're doing. Like, why would I ever do that and put someone or pigeonhole them into something that I don't even know? You know how many F&As that I've actually done? We got to the point where they needed just someone that has an investment license. Yeah, a handful. Hey, Mr. Investment License guy on our team, can you take care of this? Like, go get it done. I can't do anything with this.
Hey, Jason,
Yes.
let me add something here because I know we're going to get tons of text messages and calls if I don't clarify this. We close very slowly. We do an average of 3 appointments per person. We do the presentation to intrigue and disturb, kind of open their mind up to what else is out there, let them soak in the information that we taught them. We do an F&A, and then we usually schedule a follow-up to present options. I know a lot of teams, they do an F&A on the first appointment, or they'll do F&A and products at the same appointment. We do it differently on purpose because we're building a relationship with that client. We're focusing on the long-term goal. We're wanting to get referrals. We're wanting to make sure we understand their needs and we're handling everything correctly. I just want to throw that out there because I know you said we don't close on the first appointment. We don't show illustrations. We do an F&A on the second appointment. And I know that's different from a lot of teams, but we do that intentionally. We're different by intention because we're all about the relationship building process.
And I'm glad that was a good point you brought up because I'm just going to what we do every day. So my brain's just speaking. So I'm glad you set the stage. Now, here's what I will tell you. It can be 2 appointments. Here's why we do 3 appointments. I'm glad you just brought this up. This is very, very important. So it's 3 appointments if it's a training appointment. I'll explain why in a second. It's 2 appointments if they know what they're coming for. Okay. So let me explain this real quick. The reason that the training appointment is 3 appointments is because they have no idea what they're coming to do. They don't even know why they're there. It's a training appointment. They're like, hey, I'm here to help. I'm checking it out. Okay, cool. Let me explain to you what Ed is actually getting himself into, what we're doing and what we can do. And through that, getting to know them and everything else, they're like, man, this is actually pretty good. I never thought about this. I would like some help. Okay, great. We're going to sit back down tomorrow. We're going to do what's called a financial needs analysis. The only way that me and Ed can help you is if we get all your information, put it together, and then go look at some results. And then we do the F&A. And yes, guys, I've been doing this for 8 years. As soon as I am halfway through the financial needs analysis, I know every product they need. Okay, yes, I do. Could I do it right then? Yes, I can type it up. But here's the problem. Some of you are doing that, and that's cool. But you're not duplicating yourself because you're not showing the person that you're training how to actually do it, and they're not learning anything. So you need to slow down and say, okay, we need to do one more day, and then you got to get with the person that you're training to show them how to do it, because I'm gonna be quite frank with you. If I have to do with you more than 10 times, I am failing at my job because now I don't have anyone that's independent. I'm just self-employed doing all the work. So there's a tactical approach for the client. 1, we give them time to kind of ease into what we're doing. And then 2, for the trainee, especially for the trainee, to say, okay, hey, we're going to do this. We got to be on here together. You have to see how it's done. So I'm going to need 1 day to do the presentation, 1 day to gather the numbers. That night, I got to get behind the scenes with the new person. If it's a training appointment, show them what we're doing. And then we go back the next day and click. Now, even though it's 3 appointments, it's 3 days in a row. It doesn't have to be 3 appointments 3 weeks later. It's still fast and it's still done and it's done properly, but that's how we're able to move it forward. So I appreciate you bringing that up. But this is important. It's their needs, fears, and wants, not your fears, needs, and wants. This is the fundamental place that I see most people struggle with this company. It does not matter. Oh, I'm so scared of the market. Why are you projecting on these people? What if they're not scared of the market? Why would you project onto someone what they're not feeling? Hey, here's the 3 accounts. Hey, how do you feel about these? Man, I love the stock market. Why do you love the stock market? Like, we literally get defensive about their money. No, stop it. Hey, what do you like about it? Oh, no. Hey, dude, that's pretty awesome, man. How do you feel about protecting how do you feel about having dude, I think that's very smart to have a nest egg. I didn't know that was there. Okay, what percentage do you want here, here, and here? Okay, good. Let's do that. Man, I so don't like the market. Yeah, neither did I. Right? If I don't, me personally, I don't have a ton of my money. I've studied hundreds of wealthy people. I mean, I'm like a study of wealthy people nut job. And I can't find very many that are sticking all their money in the stock market and letting it go up and down. I haven't found very many. Wealthy people buy businesses. They buy real estate. They buy the ground that we all walk on. They buy things. They buy Rolexes because Rolexes are out. They buy them by the dozens, right? They buy things that can be used for value. So that's reasons now I don't like the stock market. Before I didn't like the stock market because I know what the hell I was doing. Now there's other reasons I could do different stuff. And I don't like all the capital gains tax and this tax and that tax and tax. So there's ways to avoid that. But if they like it, don't tell them they can't like something. It's their money. You just got to reposition what makes sense for them. Remember, this is their financial needs analysis. This is their plan. This is their family. Okay. And then the 4 boxes are the key to your success. Fixed, variable, index, and then you have a spending bucket, right? It's not on the presentation, but you have a spending bucket. Fixed, variable, index. Fixed, variable, index. Okay. You got to find out, hey, what do you have for fixed? How do you feel about it? What do you have for variable? How do you feel about it? What do you have for index? Nothing. Okay, great. That's the place that we specialize in. We should talk about that. You should have some money that is guaranteed not to lose and can grow. That just makes sense. Yes, it does. Great. Your spending bucket. What's that look like? How are you spending? There's only 4 places money can be, guys. It's either fixed, variable, index spending. Fixed, variable, index. When I realized this, I was like, hey, Zeus, I thought you were the grand master. There's only 4 buckets and 3 places you could be taxed. This is so easy. This is like playing the low. This is checkers. This isn't the chess part. This is the checkers part. The chess part's building the plan. Okay. Because we have to have a little bit of knowledge, right? But this is playing, hey, kid me. This is checkers. It's going to go so many directions. Once you understand that this is your actual job, your job is to find out what do they have in these boxes, and then how do they feel about the boxes? What do they have in taxes? How do they feel about taxes? And your job is just to guide them on what they feel and what they want. That is all you have to do here. And the fact that the reason we can help every family is we do all the boxes. You may not be licensed to do all the boxes, but we can do all the boxes. I don't know if I made any sense on that, but here we go. Adding a business partner. And I purposely changed the word from closing the family because this used to be a closing thing. I changed it this morning, right before I started. Serve the family. Serve the family. If you go with a serving heart, your brain thinks differently by design. I'm here to serve you. Let me see what I can do. I have knowledge. I have a license. I have access to the top companies in the world. Let me see what you need. Let me see what I can do for you. Let me say it again. I'm here to serve you. I have access to the license. I got the license. I can serve you. I have the access to all the major companies. Let me see what we got to do to make sure your family is where they need to be. It's all you're doing. Right? Adding a business partner. How do you add a business partner? Okay. Match WFG to their why. You must link us to the solution to their needs and wants. I hate not the guy yesterday. Dude, I'm in sales. I'm always top 1%. I have no time, dude. I hate not having time. I never get to see my daughter. How do you think Andre recruited him? Hey, man, if I can show you a way to still make the income you have and get your time back, would you be willing to take a look at it? Boom. He signed his AMA right then. He didn't say nothing else. Nothing. We're talking too much. We're saying too much. We got to relate how we're doing in our life. Like, man, this has been awesome. It's changed it. Like, what part of what I just told you sounds awesome to you? Dude, I can't believe you got to swim with your kids. Okay, great. Let's come on board. Let's swim with your kids. Done. AMA. Let's go. Boom. In. Bam. So you tell what's been working for you, man, these meetings are awesome. I'm growing as a person. I'm starting to learn some financial concepts. I'm starting to get going. I got my first paycheck. Like, which part sounds awesome to you about that? Oh my God, I can't believe you have training every day and you get to work on your own and you get to be home. Let's go get that for you. You can share your story and get them to but give your scope. And then what if that you just heard, dude, I want that time. Let's go get it together, bro. I'll do everything I can do in my power to get you there. You just got to meet me halfway. Done. You recruit everybody. Sell the dream, big and best vision so they can fit themselves inside of it. Hey, man, we're at 4.4 million families right now as of 2001. Dude, our goal is to help 20 million families. We need way more agents to get this done. We're going to do it by 2030. We got 8 years left. Yeah, my math's right. We got 8 years left to get it done, right? 8 years left. We need more. Dude, I know you just told me that this is wrong, what's going on, that you're a little pissed off that you didn't know this stuff. Hey, brothers in arms, man. Let's lock arms and let's go help these families out. Dude, because of Zoom, we're going to help freaking 20 million families by now. There's so much room left. And guess what? There's still 330 million people. We're never going to get it done. We're going to have to get your grandkids freaking license. We're going to have to get your great grandkids license. We're going to license everybody. You can't get to 330 million people in one lifetime. We got a lot of work to do. That's the passion you have to sell this thing with. And that's why people want to be a part of something special. No one wants to be part of the business that's closing their doors. They want to be part of a business that's exploding where they can be part of it. They don't want to feel like they missed the wave. They want to feel like they're in the wave. And this is the biggest wave we're ever going to see. I'm going to say this again because no one listens to me, but you're going to listen to me because I'm going to say it 1,000 times. Here's the reality. In the next 10 to 15 years, we are going to see the largest wealth transfer back to in the insurance companies we've ever seen in our entire life. Maybe right now you're like, damn, my annuity's held up. Man, I can't pass my test. Man, things just started working. I mean, I was clicking for 6 months and it slowed down again. Man, I don't know what's happening. Dude, because it's coming. Whenever there's massive adversity that's hitting at one moment, the greatness is coming for everybody. This company is about to do something so special. Man, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you get up early. I'm so glad you're different by design than everyone even inside the company. You guys are crazy. Tell them where they're going. Tell them where you're going, not where you are. This is so important. Tell them where you are going. No one cares what you already did because they weren't in the story. It's fun to tell that with the people. When I talk to Ed and be like, oh my God, you remember 18 months ago? This was crazy. Like we were in it together. So it's funny and we have fun with it. But when he brought Tim on, Tim doesn't care that me and Ed were doing stuff 18 months ago. What does he care? It's not his story. Tim's like, where are we going, bro? What vision do you have where we're going? Nobody cares unless they were there. What happened before? Hey, Ed, in 2019, I sat kneecap to kneecap with Greg Kapp, and he was staring him in the eyes. It sounds cool. Ed wasn't there. He could care less. Now, if he was kneecap to kneecap with me, we'd be joking about it. And if he got thrown around the room, but people want to know where you're going. That's why in WFG, it's so important. Stop worrying about if you haven't made any money yet. Stop worrying about if you haven't helped the amount of families you want to help yet. No one cares where you're at because they're not in that part of your story. They want to know where you're going because that's the story they're going to be. This is so important. I don't know. I feel like this is the greatest training ever on planet Earth.
Hey, that's huge. That's huge, though. If you haven't made any money, you can't focus on, oh, I haven't made any money yet. Think about everything else in life. You know, when you start playing a sport, you don't start off as the starting center in a basketball team or the starting striker in soccer. You know, you have to work your way up to that. You have to practice. You have to get good at it. You have to put in the work, earn the respect of your peers and your coaches to get that position. At work, you don't just come in and be the manager or the assistant manager. You have to work your way up to that. You know, when you started In-N-Out, I know this because my daughter works there. You don't just start like working the grill. You have to work your way through all the different parts of the restaurant. They have a very unique training system. It's a process. But you know what you can do is you can come into that In-N-Out and say, you know what? I want to be a manager. And they'll show you what you need to do to get there, the steps you need to do. It's no different here. You have to follow the system. You have to listen to your coach, your mentor, and take the steps to get there because it doesn't happen overnight. Unless you're a Wilda, then you can make like $6 grand in your first 20 days. That's different. Or Andre, you can recruit 50 people in a month. But it's a process that you have to stay steady and congruent with just moving forward. And you have to believe that it's going to happen because everything in life takes time. It takes buildup. But we come into WFG with the opportunity to create everything we've ever wanted in our whole life. And we wonder why it didn't happen yesterday. You're not giving yourself a fair shot to win. You're not giving yourself a real chance to succeed because that's not how anything else in your life has ever gone. Why would this be different? If it's worth it, you're going to have to work at it. But believe me, once you work at it, it'll be more worth it than you ever thought.
No, dude, 1,000%. And the reality of this is that at the end of the day, everyone's looking for something. Like, it's just true. Everyone's looking for something. Like, we all are always like, man, what's that next level? And I think that the thing is this, and this is why you should tell everybody. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're brand new, this is what I said to every single person. I'm like, man, I ain't made $1 yet, but I promise you, with Jesus training us, I guarantee you, I'll be making $100,000 by the end of the year. I told everybody, every person I talked to, I said, I ain't made $1 yet, but with Jesus training us, this guy's like, his name's Jesus, first of all. That's exactly what I used to say. You guys want to know exactly what I said? I'm going to let you in a little something. I said, first of all, if Jesus is training you, I mean, let's just be real for a second. That's going to be pretty awesome. But is Jesus, so you're on here, right? Where's he at? I used to say it's at kitchen tables. He used to get so uncomfortable because I would say this stuff right in front of all the people. I'd be like, listen, you see how smart this guy? This is literally what happened. We would do an appointment and he's like the grand master, right? Back then, and he sucks at drawing. He might be good at actually doing the stuff online, but he's a terrible drawer, right? So I'm just kidding, but you were. We're drawing this on paper, by the way, when we were doing this when we started. It sounds like it's the Stone Ages. So anyway, I would sit there. He would do his thing. He would do all this stuff and he'd get done. And I'd be like, looking at whoever it was. I'm like, Shannon, he's going to train us. Like, we're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars because look how smart he is. And she's like,
Grace is starting to mess up.
She's like, I'm in. Like, dude, hey, Jesus, tell me that didn't happen on every single appointment at the end. That's how I recruited everybody. I was recruiting everyone, but I wasn't recruiting anybody. I was just saying, hey, he's going to train us. You know, I'm a nut job. We're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I was like, and then Jesus is like looking at me. Hey, every appointment, huh, Jesus?
Every single appointment. I don't think we ever went on an appointment where someone said no. In fact, I could tell you for a fact, no one said no. And by the way, my drawings were terrible because I needed you to see how easy it was. Right? It's like, oh, I mean, you can use a crayon and do this, and we can help a lot of people. And I think that's why people overthink this thing, right? A lot of people overthink this thing. People didn't need to know how smart you are. They just need to know that you actually care, right?
And here's what's important about that. I really did not know what the heck I was doing. That wasn't a lie. I had no clue. But I'm like, man, I'm going to use leveraging. I'm like, you're here. Like, you know what you're doing. But here was the thing. I was the trainee. This is where I'm telling you guys, as trainees, we're missing the mark. I was the trainee. And guess what I wanted to build? A monster organization. I had one thing on my mind. I'm building me a huge team because I already knew the problem was too big and I couldn't get it done. So when I was on the appointment, in my brain, I said, okay, I can't offer these guys anything. I can't train them on anything. I don't even know my head from my butt yet. I don't know what's going on. But Jesus is a genius and he knows how to break all this down. So I would say, dude, me and you together, you know me, I ain't slowing down for nothing. I'll take over the whole world, right? But he's going to be the one to train us. And they're like, okay, I'm comfortable because if you train me, I'm never going to do anything. That's exactly what they were thinking at the table. If I have to trust in you, like, bro, I work with you, you're a nut job. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to train me. But I would leverage the fact.
By the way, bro, Jason, let me just say something about that specifically. That's called proper edification. Like, bottom line, that is one of those key nuggets everybody misses. Jason was literally the hype man before the hype man. He would tell people about me before I even showed up. So by the time I did show up, guess what would happen? People would already trust me. They just want to know.
But it was all true. Like, you're getting some good stuff. This is good. Because literally, before the appointment, I say, listen, we got Jesus coming, Jesus from LA. I don't know how he grew up in Compton, but that's how Jesus did. And then they laugh a little bit because you have to a little fun. And I said, but listen to me. This dude, like, this guy knows his stuff. Like, he sat down, set me and my wife up. It was so awesome. Like, this guy is the man. And guess what? I want you to listen to what he's saying because, dude, we're going to blow this thing up. Nobody at our work knows this. No one it didn't matter where I was. It didn't matter who I was talking to. Nobody at our work knows this. No one in our family knows this. No one on the football field knows this. Nobody in the grocery store knows this. Wherever I met you, I would tell you the same exact thing. Nobody Tina Williams, no business owners know this. No business owner knows this. Ed, nobody that's an electrician knows this. And I'm now on my team's like, oh my God, I said all the same things to you guys because I say all the same things. Hey, Tony, nobody knows this back in New Jersey. You're going to take over New Jersey. There's no one in New Jersey that knows this. Nobody knows this. And then boom, Jesus would show up. He would just, now they're like, oh my, and everything he's saying, I already know they're not going to know. So now he actually delivers because I already know 95% of people have no clue what we're talking about. So when he comes in, he delivers on the fact that he just teaches the basic information. They're like, man, this guy really is a genius. This guy freaking knows everything. And now I'm like, boom, guess what? He's going to train us. And they're like, I'm in. I'm comfortable now because I'm not trusting at all because you are nuts. But I will trust Jesus. And then bam, it started to go from there. So it starts to move. And it starts to move. On Zoom, oh my gosh, you guys should be just destroying this thing. Destroying this thing. Like, boom, boom, boom. You could get the person on. Edification. I never once said at one sit down, I never said Jesus' income. Not one time. I actually didn't know what he was making. So I couldn't say an income. I never said how much he made. I didn't know it. I never asked him. I never said what he made. All I said was, this dude has the knowledge that we need. It's me and you. Because I knew this since day one. It wasn't Jesus' responsibility to move my team. It was my responsibility because I'm their leader. I'm saying, hey, dude, and I wanted to be a leader. I was very, very vocal about that. I want to lead, bro. I want to follow your lead, but I want to lead. I was already an employee, bro. You told me I get to be an independent agent and be free. I don't want to be someone else's employee. I'm not here to work for you. I'm here to work with you. And dude, he did what the model does. He took his hard-earned time, showed me what to do, and then said, fly, little birdie. And he watched that birdie hit walls, break its wing, fall off the tree, get back on the tree, fly into the glass is closed. I used to hit my head on that thing like 400 times. Bam, bam. But I was like, oh, you can't knock out this little birdie. And I just go get some more, right? That was it. And he would just guide me along the way. You know what he let me do? He let me fail. You know what he let me do? He let me learn. You know what he let me do? He let me just keep being myself. You know what he let me do? He tried to hone it in. He's like, Jesus, this guy's a nut job. And then he just let it do it. And then I have my ups and downs and peaks and valleys. But I'll tell you what, he never knew. I never called him and told him anything, ever. I just kept grinding, He didn't even know where I was at. What's the matter? It's on me. I got to keep figuring out. Jesus, have I ever called you? Did I ever call you when I was down to $10 in my account and say, hey, why the hell would I tell him that? What the hell is he going to do? Give me $10? Know what he can do? I can call him with a new recruit. I can call him with a new sale and say, dude, I'm starting to go backwards. Jesus, every time I was slumped, I would bring him back. I say, I come back, boom, and I explode again. And I got better. And boom, boom. And that's how we did it. Back and forth.
Hey, you can't just skip over that. That's huge. That's huge. It doesn't matter if you're a month in, 3 months in, a year in, 3 years in, 10 years in. If you're hitting a slump, call in backup, call in for help, match up with somebody, get a new perspective. Here's somebody else go through the presentation and make those connections that you may be missing, because we all have our own habits and routines, and we're going to get into what fits us most comfortably. And if you get stuck in your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. So don't think about, oh, I'm an SMD. I've been doing this 5 years. I'm too good to split deals. That's ridiculous. Like, you always need to learn to continually grow your business. What you just said, Jason, was so big. If you get stuck, if you get in a slump, you call Jesus back in. Everybody needs to take that, write that down. Because I told Jason just recently, like, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, we're hitting it. Like, we're not getting stuff approved. It's taking forever. We don't have very many appointments this week. And then he calls me and goes, hey, we're going to Atlanta to see Jeff Levitan. I said, okay, that's the fire I needed. Bringing in the big dogs. I guarantee you when we get back, I'm going to be fired up and we're going to get this thing running on double steam next week. Not saying I'm going to take this week off. I still have some appointments to run, but when you get stuck, bring in some help. I called Jason, was like, man, we're moving slow. We're struggling a little bit. And he fired me up. Now we're starting to schedule things out in the next week, in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, I'll tell you. This is exactly what I told him. I'll tell you what happened. He called me. We talked for a second. I said, dude, we need a business launch everyone in the next 7 days. Everyone needs a business launch. Launch everybody. Let's go. Like, into action. And I'm going to tell you something. I promise you right now, mark my words, because I'm telling you, I had to do a lot of growing in this business. If we would have had Zoom and I could have had Jesus actually on every single, we couldn't do it. Think about this, guys. He would come to Arizona and have to drive back to California. He had to drive all the way home. I couldn't call him every time I had something to come back. So then we had to start relying on each other. That's where me and Johnny had to start relying on each other.
It didn't work. Remember, like we tried. It was like working with dial-up. Like,
dude, it was terrible. It was choppy. We used Google Meetup and crap. We used all types of stuff. But here's the reality. Then we had to start relying on each other. So then I started relying on my downline. Like, we just started figuring it out, getting better, transferred, helping with leads, like everything. We just tried anything we could do because I couldn't get him back to home port. I couldn't get him here every time. I'm telling you right now, man, if you have a burning desire to win, I mean, really one, I mean, you're hungry and you want to change your life and you start trusting yourself, stop second guessing yourself. Stop thinking you're going to mess up. You can't mess this up. It's like unmess-upable. If you put something wrong on the application, it like tells you it's not right. Like, it stops it and comes back. And the quote only can go so many ways. You can't mess this up. But if you really want to win right now, I'm telling you, if we would have had Zoom, dude, I'd be making $10 million here already. You know why? Because Jesus would have made me 10 million bucks. I wouldn't have made any money because I don't know what the hell I was doing, because he was good enough to do it back then. The problem was back then is I had to grow. You get to grow and be on Zoom at the same exact time. This is nuts. Like, as you're growing, if you're using the system properly, you're exploding. You can like grow and Zoom. Like, if Jacob's my blind leader, I could be growing and being like, Jake, dude, stay with me in the game a little longer. Stay with me in the game a little longer. Because a leader is going to say, hey, step out, do what you got to go do. If you start saying, hey, I'm kind of stuck in something, you could reach back out and then move it again. Do 10 more appointments. Do 15 more appointments. Do 25 more appointments. Just grab the people that are winning and say, dude, I want to do more appointments. Like, and then you get that mojo back. And then when the mojo's back, you're like, boom, then you're on. Because every time you move in this business, you take one step, you're better than you were last time. Every time. Every day you get on here, you're better. You may not think so because you don't see it yet, but you are better. Today you got better than yesterday. Whether you're looking at the wrong indicators. You're like, well, I didn't close anybody. Well, you also didn't reach out to anybody. Like, that's common. You didn't close anybody because you didn't make any contacts to get anyone on things. So let's just think about that, right? There is no way I know this, like I know this, like I know this. If you match up the system properly, it's impossible. If you're reaching out to 5 to 10 people every single day that you're not closing and recruiting people, it's impossible. I am living proof. At the crappiest I was at this to crappier I am now trying to be better. If you are consistent on content, it's impossible not to help you. It is literally impossible. If you do this for 45, you do 60 days straight of 5 contacts a day, and you tell me you didn't help one person, then you can stump me wrong. We'll do some type of thing, and I'll tell you that. It's impossible here. There's too many people that need help. It is literally impossible. But we're focused on the wrong indicators. You need to leverage Zoom. You need to leverage it. I love the fact that Max has a great leader in Nick, and he hit me up and said, dude, like, I'm moving, bro. Like, I'm moving. Like, you owe me more time. He literally, that's not exactly what he said, but that's what I felt when I got the message. And I love the fact that he went through Nick first to add before he asked me the question. Now they're on my team, so they're allowed to go through these lineages. But he said, I'm moving, dude. I got you into Puerto Rico. You weren't in Puerto Rico. I got us in Puerto Rico. He didn't say that. That's what I'm thinking when I got the text message, right? That's what I would enjoy that text message from him. Because you know what I know? Then I know it clicked. Then I know, like, I'm coming for what I want. And Nick's going to get me there, and you're going to help me, bro. Right? This is the stuff that I'm thinking as a leader, because I'll tell you this. I knew Jesus had a lot of people on the team, but I was like, you're answering my phone call first. Not because you like me, because I'm outworking everybody. There ain't no one going to outwork me, and I'm going to earn your time, and you're going to have to pay attention to me, whether you like me or not. We are completely different personalities. We are completely different personalities. He is calm and normal and respectful and says the right words, and he's a good human being. I'm all those things too, except for the fact I'm nuts. So, like, we are completely different. But I told you, you are going to have to 100% pay attention to me, because I'm outworking everybody on your team. He had no choice. There was people way more better than me. There was people closing bigger deals than me. There was people out recruiting me in the moment. But I was like, I'm going to demand your time through my actions. And that's how I got it. And then boom. So a lot of you guys are doing the actions, but you're not demanding anything. I'm speaking to my team directly. All the rest of you talk to your own teams. I have people on my team that are putting in all the work. You got to get your self-confidence up to know that what you're doing is what you're doing, and demand, hey, I'm putting this in. I know what I'm doing. Like, let's get to work. Because when we do that next appointment and you're thinking like that, watch how many families you serve. Because it ain't about me doing the appointment with you. Your mind has moved into space that you know you're a champion. And when you know you're a champion, boom, game over. You get to dunk the basketball at the end. It's not fun watching someone else score the winning touchdown. It's not fun. I play sports my whole life. You want to be the one catching the touchdown. You're like, oh my God, Heather keeps scoring the touchdowns. Heather keeps scoring the touchdowns. I'm like, then learn your craft so the quarterback will throw you the ball. You're the only one determining whether you're getting the ball or not. And honestly, it's the little voice in your head that's lying to you. You can't do it. You're not smart enough. It's a lie. It's literally a lie. It's a lie you're telling yourself that's coming in. Just deflect it out, work your tail off, and then demand the time if you're getting the results off of what you're doing, which all we're looking for is activity. I told John today, John, want me to help you? I'm going to coach you today. Here's my coaching tip. Just spend time with everyone that's working super hard. Coaching tip over for the call. That's it. Oh, what about the one that's the smartest? Well, you can do that too. But not working the hardest, not doing it doesn't do anything. That's a great conversation you're going to have, but that's not going to help in the moment. Work with who's working the hardest, and then eventually they'll be the first ones you get out on their own. I got to do an appointment. I'm 4 minutes late. I love you to death. Let's rock and roll. I'm going on your code, John. Let's rock and roll. I love you guys. You guys are all champions, dude. Let's get it. Holy Toledo burrito. I don't know if that was even training today, but get it done. Thank you, Jesus. I love you.